Lynet is a Gerstlauer launch coaster at Farup Sommerland. This Danish park's newest coaster in Phoenix has been getting a lot of attention as of late, but Lynet is a good ride on its own. This ride may be short, but it has some sneaky power during the ride's first two-thirds. Find out everything you need to know about this coaster in this review. Lynet opened back in 2008 as Farup's tallest and fastest coaster. It was also Denmark's first ever launch coaster. The country still doesn't have too many launch coasters to this day, but they certainly started off strong with this one. And it also stole the name of the park's kiddie coaster. From 2003 through 2007, the park's powered coaster was known as Lynet, which translates to lightning. The park thought that name was better suited for a thrill coaster, so in 2008, they gave the name to their new Gerstlauer and renamed the powered coaster Mini Lynet. Then after all that, the park removed Mini Lynet after the 2008 season, and it now travels the Dutch fair circuit as Goldman Express. Lynet features green track to blend in with the trees, but guests can still see the ride's tallest elements from the parking lot, which helps build anticipation. Then the ride looks even better up close because the launch track runs right alongside the midway, and then you can also see the top hat and the inversions too. Lynet is technically not classified as a Eurofighter, but it essentially feels like one. The ride features the compact elements you'd typically see on a Eurofighter, so why the distinction? I think it's because this was Gerstlauer's first launch coaster, and the ride had different trains at the time. However, both these features made their way onto the Eurofighter model just a few years later, basically making the launch coaster model redundant. This is one of the more popular rides at Farup Sommerland. Midday, it can have a wait approaching the 30-minute mark, but the ride was a total walk-on for me towards the start and end of the day. I began my visit at Farup with a half dozen rides without getting off. If you do get stuck in the queue line, you at least have a little to look at. It's a fully enclosed dark queue line past some crates and barrels. You won't find any theming during the main layout though, but that's fine because the elements can stand on their own, and much of the layout is adjacent to trees to hide the upcoming elements. Lynet was running just 2 cars the day I visited, each seating 6 riders. I believe the ride could operate with more cars because of all the mid-course brake runs, but I'm not sure if it has run with 3 or more, or if it still does. The ride doesn't have the highest throughput, but the operations are fittingly lightning fast. I didn't see the crew stack the trains once. There was always one cycling through the course. The single-car trains consist of 3 rows of 2. The rows flare outwards as you move further back in the car, which helps everyone get at least a partially unobstructed view. If you've ridden Anubis at Plopsaland Japan or Huracan at Belantis, the cars are set up identically. Lynet has over-the-shoulder restraints. And fair warning, this isn't the most accommodating ride for people with larger chests or bellies. Gerstlauers are a mixed bag when it comes to smoothness. While I'd prefer the freedom of a lap bar, I'm pleased to say the restraints didn't cause too much of an issue here. There are just a few turns where you'll lightly tap your head, but no major head banging. As for which row you'll want, I didn't think it made much of a difference on this coaster from a force perspective. I just took the first one that was available, but you can easily wait an extra train for the front if you'd like that fully unobstructed view. Huracan at Belantis runs the exact same trains, and that ride is notorious for getting rougher as you move further back in the car. Fortunately, you do not have the same issue with Lynet. The cars track quite smoothly on this one. Once dispatched, you dip downwards, emerge outdoors, and accelerate to 50 miles per hour or 80 kilometers per hour in just 2 seconds. This is a rolling LSM launch similar to the ones found on Anubis or TMNT Shellraiser at Nickelodeon Universe. Gerstlauer makes some of the most forceful launches out there. This one is no different. It's as punchy as you'd expect. Flucht von Novgorod at Hansa Park gets a lot of attention for its launch, but I don't think Lynet's launch is too far behind. Both pack a wallop. Make sure to keep your head back because the launch abruptly kicks in and you're yanked down that launch track. This leads into the ride's tallest point, a 66-foot or 20-meter tall top hat. You get some strong and sustained laterals throughout the element. You'll be pressed to the left side of the car. You'll also get some floater airtime going over the top. It's only weak to okay in power, but it is moderately sustained, and when paired with those laterals, it's really nice. Next is a camelback chock full of ejector airtime, and it is sustained ejector too. It reminded me of a smaller bunny hill on those intimate hypercoasters. You do need a full train for the hill to reach its max potential. When I got Zen rides both at the start and end of the day, the airtime was still sustained, but was more like weak ejector as opposed to strong ejector. You then sharply rise up into a mid-course brake run, getting a good burst of ejector airtime. This moment reminds me of the entries into the brake runs on Universal Orlando's Rip Ride Rocket. The brakes do slow you down a tad, but I think that's fine because the next elements are actually better with less speed. You twist downwards and then navigate a 0G roll. You get some great hang time here. After an okay turnaround that more or less just changes your direction, you crawl through a corkscrew. This is the ride's second and final inversion, and it offers another excellent dose of hang time. Lynet then jumps into another mid-course brake run, getting a decent pop of airtime along the way. Now the final part of Lynet isn't nearly as intense. You then go into a downwards helix. I like how it wraps around a tree, and it does have a little power to it, just not nearly as much as the first 2/3. You then twist upwards into the final brake run, getting a pinch of laterals on the way. This ends the 1,770 foot or 540 meter long coaster. In terms of smoothness, Lynet is pretty good. The hills and inversions ride smoothly, but some of the turns can tap your head. It may be a smart idea to lean forwards on any change of direction if you're sensitive to head banging. As for pacing, Lynet does a great job for the first 2/3. I love the launch, airtime hills, and inversions, and those elements occur one after another. The ride doesn't quite end with a bang on that final helix, but the ride never becomes bad or boring. So what would I rate Lynet? I would give the original Gerstlauer launch coaster an 8 out of 10. I really like this ride. You have a forceful launch, wonderful laterals on the top hat, some nice airtime on a few hills, and some glorious hang time on the 2 inversions. And it is a reasonably smooth ride too, even with over-the-shoulder restraints. Of course I wish it had lap bars, and I also wish a few of the turns were a bit stronger, but this is still a nice coaster. It has the single best launch in all of Denmark, and one of the best launches in all of Europe for that matter, and it's a perfect second fiddle to Phoenix. I ran into a lot of coaster enthusiasts while at Farup, and one of the big questions was whether people prefer Lynet or Anubis. Opinions seem split. I personally prefer Lynet. Both rides are surrounded by trees and have excellent launches, but I think Lynet has a few more standout elements than Anubis. Anubis does have far more theming during the queue line, but neither ride carries that theming over to the main experience. So those are my thoughts on Lynet at Farup Sommerland. What are your thoughts on this Gerstlauer? Do you like this ride? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.